I wanted to go a little bit further into talking about this so-called mark of the beast. Okay. Now, if any of you have been following the last few videos that I've put, especially the last one, you will see in the beginning that I said something, and I'm going to read it again, that the mark of the beast is a predetermined ideology that sets one's course of direction, allowed by God through delusion to condemnation, using condemnation without intervention. And the reason why I say without intervention is because it's not that intervention is not offered by God, but once you have that invitation to reset your course, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more today. If you deny that or if you reject it, then God is not going to force himself upon you concerning the knowledge. He will just step aside and look at your, look at your course of direction and say, okay, well, I guess I'll revisit them once they crash, in not so many words. And I know that seems a little bit hard. If you read Revelation chapter 13, you will see that he causes all great and small, rich or poor, free and slave to take the mark. And where people get a little trapped up is when they say about the right hand or the forehead. Let's say you're getting into your car, and a lot of people, most people more than not, have a navigational system, or what they call for short, a GPS. When you get into the car, you look at the car and you know where you want to go. So what you do is you program the destination. Some people program the destination even though they've been there before, like work or whatever, because there's some intricate GPSs that will show you the best way and the fastest way to get to where you desire to go. As you hit enter, after you set your course of direction, you'll go down the highway or you go down the back roads and you'll say to yourself, you know what, I feel like taking a different way towards this destination. Or you may have taken a wrong turn, for that matter, right? What the GPS will do is it will recalculate and recalibrate and either tell you to make a U-turn and to get back on the right course, and you're recalculating and setting on another a way of getting to your destination. Regardless of what methodology you use, you're set on that course to go to that destination. All right. That is the mark of the beast. Now, when you read in Revelation chapter 14 and even Revelation chapter 13, it's kind of harsh. It's like, and a lot of people, especially saints, when they say, well, if you take this mark, man, you predestined for death. Not predestined, but they say if you take this mark, that's it. It's a wrap. There's nothing you can do. Nothing can be done for you. You that's it. All said. There's pastors that have likened this medicine, so to speak, as the mark. And people have come up to them and said, oh, Pastor so-and-so, I just want to let you know, I love God and everything, but I took this thing, right? And the pastor, it's a true story, said, well, there's nothing I can do for you now. You took that thing. That is someone who doesn't understand the scriptures completely. Because again, it says he causes all, rich or poor, great or small, free and slave. Okay, that's not necessarily the meaning of the mark of the beast, but I understand why he said it, because in his mind, according to something that's physically manifested or that's been told to him, he's like, well, there's not much I can do here now. Hope just left him, and he's like, I can't save you now. There's nothing that can be done for you. But what does it mean to take the mark of the beast? We just use the GPS. No matter where you turn, and let me ask you this question. Have you ever, one good way to describe it is, have you ever come across the same problems in your life over and over again, and no matter what you do to avoid it, it keeps happening over and over and over again, right? Well, if that's the case, that's because there's some sort of course of direction that has been set over your life, or there's a course of direction that you have set through the GPS of your life, right? And no matter what way you turn and no matter what you try to stop doing, or no matter what you try to avoid or ignore, you wind up still going to the same destination. Okay? Now, that's the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is a predetermined, charted course that is set and marked, and it marks you for death through the spirit of condemnation, through the spirit of offense. It marks you for death. No matter what you try to avoid or ignore, as long as you avoid or ignore and take any alternate turns, you wind up at that destination, because listen to what I'm saying, you have not canceled the assignment. You have not canceled the assignment. When you're driving in your car and you're like, you know what, I don't think I need to go to this place anymore. What you do is you go to your GPS, either on your phone or in your car, and you say, stop navigation or stop directions. And the GPS will say, okay, navigation stop. And now you can go elsewhere, because until you turn off those instructions, until you turn off that assignment, no matter where you go, it's going to tell you, okay, go down this road, because I know, as far as I understand, you want to go to this direction. And unless you tell it to stop directions, you will continuously run into the same destination over and over again. It may take a little longer. It may get you there quicker, but unless you cancel the assignment, all right, you're going to head there. Now, one way some people can liken this is generational curses. There are assignments that have been set for your course of direction to lead to death. And it can come in the form of how you were taught when you were younger. Might have been with good intentions. However, it gets passed on from generation to generation to generation. And unless a generation cancels that assignment and says, stop navigation, no matter what you do to soften things up or sugarcoat that, you are headed still in that direction. That's the mark of the beast. You're marked to death. Now, let's go to Matthew chapter 7, because it says something very interesting. So the mark of the beast is talking about your destination and where you're headed. You are marked for death. And unless you cancel the assignment, whether it's you that said it or your prior generation or whatever is taught you, unless you cancel it, you're going to head there sooner or later. Now, look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. It talks about this gate and the road that leads somewhere. And it says in verse 13, enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction. And there are many that enter through it. Such as a highway. You see a lot of cars on the highway, that's traffic. But everybody's going a certain direction, in the same direction. Verse 14, but small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only a few there be that find it. Because it's not a popular road to travel on. Therefore, not a lot of cars use that road, right? Not a lot of vehicles, not a lot of people use that road, because it's not a popular road that leads you to where everybody else is going, in the direction that everybody else is going. But Jesus said, which is the word of God manifested in the flesh, it's better for you to go down the road less traveled, even if it may make you look unpopular in the public eye. Okay? So the mark of the beast is more of a course of direction that has been set, whether it's by you or your prior generation or someone who has taught you and guided you up, and you're just like, look, I'm just doing what I know. There's certain things that we act out on people that we've had inflicted on us. That's because there's a course of direction that has been set. And usually it's through indoctrination, right? Any kind of indoctrination that is planted into you, it's another way of, it's a course of direction that has been programmed into your computer to set you on a course towards life or death. So the mark of the beast is that's why I said the mark of the beast is a predetermined course of direction that is set over your life towards death or destruction, as read in Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13.